going to come over your building, or if you have to worry about your HVAC system, or so it's more than just the people right around there. There's a lot of concerns, and other people who are just watching, who don't have power. Some of them said this is no big deal. They're just watching, and like I said, this is a spectacle to see. But as far as traffic goes, in cars, there's not a lot of people driving around. Many people walking. We actually were told by, I believe it was the sheriff's department or Knoxville Police Department, that we had to keep moving. So we were trying to tell people they could come. Meanwhile, they were telling us to get out of there because fire trucks were, coming back and forth trying to put the fire out and distinguish it, John.
All right, Brandon. Also, we're trying to get a sense of just where the firefight stands from some officials we've been talking to. But I don't know if you can see our picture, but that plume has really changed in the last 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, to the point Todd was saying that actually on radar it's looking somewhat better. We saw it earlier, and you could actually see the smoke from that fire on radar. But according to Todd, it seems to be a little bit better than it's been, and we were hearing from Mark Salinger that from his vantage point, looking somewhat better. Of course, we'll leave that to the firefighters to let us know where it stands for sure. Now, we want to share with you some road closures as a result of this fire. I'm just going to go through this quickly so you can be aware of it, but we're looking at closures at Pershing at Cedar, Pershing at Atlantic, Pershing at West Morelia, Pershing at Radford, Radford at West Glenwood, Pershing at Banks, Atlantic at West Glenwood, Burwell at Harvey, Burwell at Hancock, Burwell at Cornelia, Morelia at Cornelia, and North Street at McMillian. I know those are a lot of closed streets, but I guess you can just pretty much assume in and around that general area, many of those streets are going to be closed right now.
And we're going to continue to zero in on this firefight as well, as this Sharpsreed Sky Camera really giving us our best view of where firefighters are putting water on this fire. Again, we saw this change over the last hour and a half or so, that they moved to that side of this fire where early on we could see lots of flames. And Robin, I guess something encouraging is we're seeing some still, but not quite to the magnitude we saw in the last 45 minutes, hour.
That is extremely encouraging. And also, as we mentioned, meteorologist Todd Howell saying he is seeing encouraging signs on radar. Todd, tell us more about that, what you're seeing.
Yeah, just not quite as thick. Some of the colors that Doppler radar looks at, the reflectivity, it picks up on precipitation particles, usually raindrops, etc., and comes back to the radar. In this case, those pollutants, the carbon materials, the particulate matters. Well, let's go back 4 hours, and I want you to show you just after 1 p.m. First Doppler radar image, the best I can tell that picked it up was at 112 actually. And so here we are at 112. Now watch the colors, again, just north of Knoxville. There you've got the yellow. See those orange colors really starting to blossom up a little bit right there as it continued to burn. So that's just after 1:30. And then as we move closer now, and you'll see it continuing to pick up a little bit. There's 2 o'clock and continuing as we get closer to 3 p.m. Again, some of those colors pick right back up. That's just after 2:30 right there, 2:45. And again, there, look at that. Just right about 3 o'clock, right there.
That's right outside my house.
Up heavy rain, but it's not heavy rain, it's smoke and particulate matter in the atmosphere. And so that particulate matter continued to stay thick just after the 3 o'clock hour. Now, going forward into the 4 o'clock hour, and again, we're going to kind of continue to go forward here. It looked like we were continuing to see, and now here we are coming up at 4:45. Looks like a little bit less concentrated smoke really coming up in just the last 30 minutes. So again, just kind of barely going through here, and you can see by some of the green colors, not so much the yellow and orange is showing up and bringing us up to right now. So again, that's a little bit better certainly than what we were seeing earlier. So let me kind of go through with our scans. This is a radar loop from the past 2 hours. You can see where it was most concentrated, again, closer to 3 p.m., now coming up just before 5 p.m., again, we are not seeing the same concentration with those intense colors. So Mark Salinger on the ground, Cole Sullivan as well, Cassie Nall also will be there reporting live. And so their visual confirmation of it looks like it was slowly improving, and we're seeing that live on Sharps Ridge Skycam as well in our monitor box, also showing up and confirming on Doppler radar that maybe it's slightly better. Now, still, we have a very large and dangerous fire and smoke plume there, but as far as the trend maybe is slightly less than what it was, and so we'll continue to be tracking that. And as I zoom in on radar right now, there's the very latest. Again, you can see some of the colors, while we still have it showing up on Doppler radar, just not as thick and as concentrated compared to earlier. Still a formidable fire and still a hazard because the toxins that are being put up from this, certainly this waste and recycling center located just off Hancock Street. So there's what we're looking at in North Knoxville. Again, that's the smoke plume. This is over the last 2 hours. And again, for a closer vantage point, again, usually we're talking storms and heavy rain when we show Doppler radar in this type of view, right? But this is the smoke plume that our Doppler radar is actually detecting in North Knoxville and continue to track up toward and into Union, northeast Knox County around Corrigan, up into Union County, including Plainview near Blaine as well, into Granger County and along Clinch Mountain. Now, the wind is transporting those pollutants and carbon materials aloft, and so it's not being seen at the surface, thankfully, downstream. So you may be seeing that and go, oh, wait a minute, is that a hazard? It's aloft. The winds are not only carrying it aloft, but it's also being dispersed a little bit more. And as far as what we're seeing as we get into this evening, we do have a chance for some spotty showers later on tonight. Not really a whole lot expected with over the next couple of hours, but we will be talking about increasing spotty thunder showers with that same wind direction out of the west-southwest as we go tonight and into our Thursday. So we're continuing to track it on radar, the wind direction, and Skycams, and we'll keep you updated throughout the afternoon and evening. For right now, let's send it back over to you, John.
Todd, thanks very much. We are joined by Jeff Bagwell. He joined us by phone earlier with Rural Metro for 30 years. He's got vast experience fighting fires, and that's why we brought him in. Thank you for taking time to come in and talk about where this firefight stands. We're about 3 hours in. What are you seeing now?
Well, the fire department's doing a great job putting water on the fire to try to cool it and suppress.
I'm gonna stop it right here. Okay, sorry. I had to make sure I was recording. Not that it matters. Yeah, Gary told me about this fire earlier, and I want to do a video on it. Hopefully it don't get taken down for copyright. I wanted to show y'all what it looks like on the outside of my house. Like I got little horses, but it's not because of the fire. It's not because of the smoke. That's not why I got little horses. I really haven't ate today and definitely haven't drunk enough. Got me some y'all can't see it, but it's green tea. Got me some green tea, Arizona green tea. And so I haven't drunk enough